Cunha.
Hello and welcome once again. It is our third interview on Expat Hoops. I'm Tony Budney alongside Andy Hoverman. Today we will continue our journey through overseas basketball through the people who play it. Our guest today was a member of George Mason University men's basketball front court from 2008 to 2012, where he amassed the third highest block shot total in school history. His pro career has spanned 8 years and counting, starting in Belgium and taking him to 2 continents. One of his team, the Freyport Skyliners of Frankfurt, Germany, won the FIBA Euro Cup in 2016. He also played in the basketball tournament, a winner-take-all open tournament held annually in the U.S. He's currently under contract with Turkey's Ilova Basket. Please welcome to the pod, Mike Morrison. Mike, we're happy to have you on Expat Hoops.
I'm flattered by all those numbers and things like that, man. Made me feel good about myself.
Hey, you did it.
As you should.
That's all you.
Sir,
No lies here.
thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. So we obviously are very much supported by George on their podcast, Giant Killer. I've had great input from a lot of Mason fans that have been with us in the very early stages of this. Figure what better place to start than your time at Mason. What would you say would be your high point of your time at Mason?
The high point at Mason was definitely the junior year, man. I think we won 17 straight. Going to the tournament, having that experience, not many people get the experience of doing that. So especially going on such a run. I mean, that's a lot of games in a row.
Yeah.
People realize it's a lot. That's like most teams don't even get that in the season. I know some guys that never won that many in a season. So, and we were extremely loose when that was going on. We were still, hanging out with each other. We were really going hard in the gym, but also having fun off the court. So it was really a great time. That was definitely my best Mason moment. A little unfortunate. The Villanova moment was definitely the actual high point, followed by a extreme low right after that with the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
Getting sick, man. We still look back at it like, man, how did my man get sick like that? What did they do? So. So I don't think people realize when he said food poisoning how down he was though. Like they said he in the middle of the morning like crawled to Miss Debbie's door.
Oh man, if he didn't play in that game, I knew he had to be down.
Yeah, he was like really down. So
yeah, no doubt about it.
The whole thing. But I mean the Villanova game was awesome. For me the last few seconds when the ball gets outletted to me, and I don't remember it happening. I only seen the video. For me, I don't remember the actual play happening. It was just me down the court celebrating, with my guys. So,
and this might just sound like flattery because you're our guest now, but I have to say that I'm a 2006 grad, so obviously the Final Four run is super special. However, at that moment in time when I think that really encapsulated because I think it was the year before that you guys lost to Villanova.
I'm in a little shootout.
Yep. Beating a good program like Villanova and knocking them off in the tournament, it's just there's so many things about it, but also the fact that the Final Four run is great, but outside of that, there really had been no other tournament wins. This one is, really kind of this is where the program is getting multiple wins in multiple years. So that's
and it came back full circle because, like you said, the year before we lost to Villanova and we really felt like we were better than them, and things didn't go our way and we were disappointed how we played. So if you watch the reaction when we found out we get them, you'll see everybody yes, they letting us get them again. So I'm excited about that. And also I lost a bet. I'm not sure what it was, but it's pictures of me doing push-ups. I can't remember what the bet. I lost the bet. I think it was the seeding or something like that. But yeah, great memories. Great memories. One of many.
So I wanted to ask you, from your perspective as a player, transitioning from Coach L to Coach Hewitt, what was that like?
It was different. Two different styles. Coach L, obviously, we learned a lot from him over the 3 years. We all signed up to play with him, and Coach L is a philosopher. He get a lot of his stuff from books and implement it into basketball. So that was his style. Coach Hewitt had a completely different approach to the game. But I thought Coach Hewitt was a very good coach personally. And if you ask the other singers like Ryan, he felt the same way. And he knew his basketball. I think he got I don't want to say he got the short end of the stick. I'm not sure how many years he got, but things just didn't go well for him. It's just one of those things where not the right situation for him, and didn't work out for him. But I thought he did a great job with development. He helped develop me mainly. So I'm speaking for myself in a different way than Coach L was doing. Which not saying Coach L was not doing a great job, just two different things. So I was able to learn more from a different perspective. But Coach Hill was intense. I'll tell you. Okay, I got a good story for y'all. So,
all right, here we go.
So, going into that junior season, which was very successful, we were disappointed in our sophomore year, my worst year, because we were so young, and we were literally in the summer. We were weights in the morning, and we was doing basketball camp all day. We'd play pickup directly after basketball camp. We'd go home for a few hours, do whatever you do, schoolwork, whatever, and then we're coming back again at night, at like 9 o'clock at night, and playing again from like 9 to 10:30. So we're playing pickup twice a day, all summer. We played a lot of basketball, even when we were miserable, we didn't want to go. It's like, all right, we going. We were in the gym a lot that summer. So, and that's just us. No coaches, no nothing. That was just us doing that, and it worked. Obviously, we played well. So the next summer now we're seniors, and we got the freshmen coming in. And we're having a hard time getting guys to show up for pickup. No matter what we're doing, no matter what we're telling them, Coach L just left. Coach Hewitt literally just got there, haven't even met him yet. And guys just aren't listening. Like, they're not coming. So this is how we all met Paul Hewitt. He flew in during basketball camp, called a lunch meeting, like nobody would go anywhere for lunch. Pulled us into the office for lunch and dug into us. Oh man, he dug into it. I remember the first sentence was, "First of all, it's your senior's fault." I was like, "Wait, what?" I know they're not coming, right? Like he dug into it. The guys were locked in and in the gym, and I was like, that's good. We need somebody that's gonna make people think this. They're not come in and just do whatever they want to do. They gotta, stay locked in. Just because the coach changed don't mean you can do whatever you want. So I thought that was great, even though at the moment me and Ryan was looking like, oh, it's our fault, and Dre also, I was our fault, but it was definitely a moment to remember for sure.
So actually, that's so it's interesting that you're talking about. Yeah, obviously there's a difference between Coach L and Coach Hewitt. When we had Tony Skinn on, he was kind of talking about like what they do at Seton Hall in terms of player development. So what would you say? What if you could articulate the difference between what was Larranaga style versus Hewitt style in terms of? Well, I was going to say probably in terms of a focus, was it more individual player development versus was it under Larranaga like more team development? Or what would you say is like the different? How would you say the difference?
No, I mean both actually. I think both are very good at player development. They both have made plenty of pros. Player development, I wouldn't say is extremely different, but the approach to offenses and how we're going to play, and Coach L was more focused on, he had sets to attack different type of defenses and to get people different shots in different places and stuff like that. Coach Hewitt was more so teaching a pro game where it's teaching the spacing and how to drive and penetrate and kick and where to move to when you're driving and things that we are, I do more so in practice right now where it's just driving kick drills and knowing your spacing and 4 out, 1 in, whereas Coach L's like, okay, we're going to run the set to get Ryan the ball off guard on the duck end right here, and it's going to be 2 points. So it's just two different strategies, two different approaches to the game, and they both had a lot of success in basketball, and they both still do. So.
Absolutely.
Once again, we wanted to just take a moment here to thank the By George Podcasting Network for hosting us. Antonio Vicuña Hernandez, Electric Llama. You can find him on social media, SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube. At his name, we are Expat Hoops. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So let's get into your pro career. You started with the Antwerp Giants in Belgium. Jalen Jenkins, he actually just signed there. Have you been in touch about what he expects playing there? And in terms of your time in Belgium there are things you like to do. What was your experience like there? I know it was a short period of time in which you were there.
Yeah, my experience in Antwerp was very short, so I can't really tell him too much. Actually, my teammate, I don't know, he left. My teammate was the coach there. He left. He got a job in Germany now. So I mean, I can't really tell him what it's going to be like. He's going to be fine in the city. You know, it's not his first year professional, so he doesn't really need that type of advice. If I knew the coach, if I knew the staff, I could, let him know those type of things. But I don't really know what it's like. The new people were there, so it's kind of like he has to figure it out. Every situation is its own situation. So, but my time there was short and sweet. And
so, what is one thing from your playing experience abroad you wished you knew beforehand?
I mean, for me, I never approach things that way. I love new experiences. I'll sign up to go somewhere just because I haven't been there. My last 3 places have been Athens, Bangkok, and now near Istanbul. So it's not necessarily what I wish I would have known, or I know basketball, and I know different coaches are going to have their different philosophies, but basketball is basketball. So, and I love going to new places and experiencing them, even if I didn't like it, or even if I loved it. You never know until you go. So the only place I didn't actually enjoy too much was Lithuania. But I mean, people were still cool, but I just didn't really love the place that much. So there's nothing that I wish I would have known. I kind of like experiencing everything. Even with George Mason, I'll be honest with you guys, even with George Mason, I didn't even know what conference I was signing up for. I picked George Mason just because that's the school I like the best. And then now, okay, well, who we playing against?
Yeah, and honestly, your choice to me, as somebody who grew up, I was local for George Mason before I went. As I've gotten older, now my experience would have been like, so wait, he left the state of Florida to go north?
Well, for me, it was more one. Luckily, I was a little stupid. I did not know how cold it is. Because cold does not mix well for me. Okay. And we had those big blizzards while I was there too. Miserable.
Yep.
Yeah, the Baltic Sea is not kind.
At all. For me, I wanted to have the college campus experience where Mason is his own place, but then also be able to have the city experience, and DC is right there. And I thought that was a great fit. And then, Coach L was great. My visit was fun. On my visit, I got to see the Wizards and Mavericks play a preseason game, and I got to see Mason Madness. So it's a great visit. I just think it was just a good fit for me. I mean, I did leave Florida, but I didn't want to stay close to home. I wanted to, again, this was wanting to go somewhere. My visits were to Butler, Tulsa, Reno, Old Dominion, and Mason. I was all over the place. So I was exploring. Exploring. So, yeah.
Well, you were exploring, but you spent 4 years in the Bundesliga in Frankfurt. So was this when did you sign a multi-year deal there, or was it year by year? How did that work for you? How did that decision come about to stay there as long as you did?
Well, I went there on a contract that wasn't extremely lucrative because I wanted to get into big leagues, and that's one of the better leagues. So I went there on a 1+1, which means 1+1 with their decision. So I got a 1-year contract, and if they wanted to keep me for another year, they could. I had a pretty good rookie in Germany. Pretty good first year in Germany. First of all, I love Frankfurt, but I wanted to leave just I could try to make some more money, because they keep me, still wasn't gonna be making much, but they kept the option. So then after that year was over, they tried to do the same. They tried to get me to sign up for the same thing. And early on in negotiations, I was like, first of all, the money wasn't even close to what they were trying to offer and what I was asking for. So I just told them, appreciate the opportunity. I'm gonna go elsewhere. So then they came back later to me and offer me more, but then try to do the 1+1 thing again. I was like, no, if we're gonna do this, let's just make it 2 years. So I know if I get hurt or something, I have something, to fall back on. Y'all, not just y'all having all the upper hand on me. So that's how I ended up being there 4 years. But I love Frankfurt. It's a great place, great people. Germany's real cool. So.
And that's interesting. So if I'm understanding you correctly, because I think you went over to Germany in 2014, 2015 is the 1+1. I think you did the Utah Jazz free agent minicamp in 2016, right? So that would have been after the first go round in Germany?
That was right in between. So that was in between when they're trying to lowball me, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm about to go to this camp and really try to kill. So And I just
How'd that
focused on
go?
the camp was fun, man. It went well. I didn't get picked up or anything. There's a lot of guys there, and they probably actually had 2 open spots, but exposure wise, and it, helped me push for better contracts when so it was cool. I really wasn't making any money up until I got offered that first 1+1. Then I started making decent money.
So in that particular case, in terms of not only did it come at a good point in time when your contract was up and everything, but Mike Wells was an assistant at Mason when you were there. I mean, did that connection really help you get that invitation to that camp?
It actually didn't. And he wanted to make sure that was clear to me. First of all, shout out to Mike Wells. He's a great guy. I love that guy. It's my man. I talk with him still. I talk with all my coaches still. But no, he made it clear to me, like, just so you know, I mean, that was coming off of us winning and winning the championship, the FIFA Europe Cup and all that. He's like, just so you know, you didn't get this invite because you know me. Like, this, I had nothing to do with this. I just saw your name and I contacted you, so. That's good for them because you wonder did they help you get in the door, and even if they did, it's not a problem. But it just to know you earned it is still better,
2018, 2019. Was this a tough season for you? You signed in August. By November, you had a 6-week contract with Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga. Eventually led them to the extending to the end of the season. So walk us through that. Tell us what that was like.
That was my time. My season started off in Lithuania. That was probably my toughest experience I've had because I'm gonna give y'all the details on how some teams can treat you very well, and then some teams, the situation is not great. So
yeah, let's hear it. We've heard both sides from everybody so far. So
yep.
Yeah, so I get to Lithuania. I'm playing Champions League, which is good international, and I'm playing in the Lithuanian league, and I'm playing well. But the team's not playing bad, but we're underachieving. We got a first-year coach who's a big-time player in Lithuania, and now he's coaching for the first time. But so they're already kind of on his back and wanted him to succeed right away. I liked him. I thought he was doing a good job. I thought we dropped some games we shouldn't have, but we also won some games we shouldn't have. So we were right where we were supposed to be. I think we was like in 4th place, and they ended up bringing in this guy, and I'm gonna give you as I'm learning what's happening. I'm giving you the real time. They're bringing this guy to make him sports director because he had money, and he brought in money with him. I'm like, okay, cool. We got basically a second GM, essentially. Comes in. So now my point guard, who now lives in Finland, but he's from New York, Jamar Wilson, veteran, real good player, best player on our team, comes in and he's like, yo, do you know who that is? I'm like, no, who's that? like who's that? Of course I don't know. It's my first time here. He's like, yo, this guy here a couple of years ago got banned from the whole league, and he hasn't had a job since because he was making racist statements. He had Corey Fisher. I don't know if you guys know Corey Fisher from Villanova.
Yeah.
He had Corey Fisher and he had a few guys on this team. He's like, you can't get too many black players on the same team because they act like gang members and all type of wild statements. And a lot of stuff like that. He ended up getting banned from the league, and he hasn't had a job in maybe 7 years. And of course, who's the team to bring him back? My team. So,
oh boy,
once he gives me that information, I'm like, all right, cool. Let's see how this goes. So you get there within the first 3 days. We're at the airport flying back to Lithuania from a road game. My coach gets we're getting news alerts on our phones that our coach is fired. He's right next to us. Fires our coach. Fires not the point guards I was talking about. Fires by one of my other foreign point guards. Tells our captain, yes, our captain who's Lithuanian, tells him we don't have minutes for you. So you can either, but we're not gonna cut you and pay you out the contract. You can either leave and go to a different team. We'll let you free, or you can just sit on the bench for the rest of the year. So he leaves. So I'm like, my goodness. And then, he starts bringing in his own guys from his own agency and stuff like that. So I'm like, I decide I'm just going to kill and make it hard for him to fire me, even though he's still going to do it. So that's what I did. I had good games for the next 2 weeks, was really killing, and he still got rid of me. And my point guard that I said was the best player on the team plays with the national team in Finland. So when it's time to go to the national team games for about 2 weeks, there's a break, and you go play at your national team. He told him, if you go, your role on this team won't be the same. Now, keep in mind, he's our best player. He's not like, wait, we can't win without him. He's the point guard, one, but two, he's getting the assists, he's getting the points, he's controlling the pace. There's no way they're gonna not play you, bro. He's like, well, I'm not gonna listen to a threat anyway. Of course, I'm gonna play with my national team. He's basically finished now. He's finished kids, finished wife, lives in Helsinki. Like, he's like, I'm gonna go play the national team. He's a captain of the national team. So he goes and he comes back, and I kid you not, he's playing the man 5 minutes. Playing him 5 minutes. Now at this point, I'm gone, and maybe a month later, he tries to fire him. He fires him. The next time he went to the national team, he fires him, and then the team gets fed up with them firing their best player, and they finally get rid of him and then re-sign him, and he comes back. I was like,
oh man,
days. I was like, that's the craziest story I've ever heard. Like, but so that was my experience in Finland. I'm not Finland, but Lithuania. It was a lot going on in Lithuania.
Oh wow.
But I didn't love it there because it wasn't much to do. But I will say Lithuania, that's nothing against you guys. I met a lot of cool people out there. So it's not the people. People were great.
So I guess to answer the question, was it a tough season? It sounds like the answer was yes. A special thank you to Mike Morrison for spending his time with us. He's overseas right now in Turkey, and of course, time being what it is over there, it was a little bit late at night for him for that interview, so thank you for that. We are Expat Hoops, EXPAT Hoops. You can find us on all social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you to the By George Podcasting Network for hosting us. Now back to the interview. Mike Morrison.
Half was tough. So that half was tough. That was going right into maybe November-ish when I left there, and I got back to Germany. Würzburg was great. Loved the city. Now I'm on the water, drinking German beer. Great energy with the team. Met some really cool guys that I still talk to daily in group chats and off group chats. We played well. We got back to the FIBA Cup championship. I was going to be me and my teammate who played with me in Frankfurt. We both were on this team now. I was going to be the first-time, two-time champion, and Jordan Holes, my point guard, Jordan Holes, who's killing the league, who's league MVP at this point in the FIBA Europe Cup, can't be stopped, gets hurt, and we had to play the finals without him. Sick, still sick about that. We still sick about that, man. So I don't know if you're familiar with Jordan, but he's Indiana native, Indiana University, and he's the best shooter I've ever played with, and I've played with some snipers, but he doesn't miss. Like he shoots it, just run down the court. I've never seen anything that automatic.
So that's interesting. So all right, so Germany sounds like one of your most favorite places to be. Would you say that's your favorite country to play in so far?
Man, I'm telling you, man, I've been really blessed. Germany has been great to me. Yes, it's one of my favorite places, but I can't really tell you what my favorite place is because I've been to a lot of great places. So.
What are the fans like in different countries? Like if you can compare them and contrast them.
Belgium fans, pretty regular fans, more American like. They're cheering, they're loud, but there's nothing going on too crazy. Same thing in Germany. The cheering is loud and they show a lot of love. Like in Frankfurt, the fans show a lot of love. They show me love. When I played the road game there, when I was with Würzburg, they had a big sign with my name and all. They show a lot of love. Würzburg fans were loud and wild. So if you want to talk about that, they were wild. But you want to talk about the craziest fans I've seen, it's when Greece is crazy too. Greece is obviously you have, how they get. They like the flares. They,
exactly.
they get really get it going. But Cyprus will always take the cake for that, for the craziest fans, because it's just like Greece, except they don't follow any rules.
Wow.
They're warming up. They're throwing little firecrackers, the ones that pop. They're throwing firecrackers on the court. Wow. You're trying to shoot free throws. They're throwing quarters at you. Laser lights. Like one time, one road game, the kids were shaking the back. I'm like, ref, the goal is shaking. Like, can you get it? And whenever the game ends, it's very simple. 5, 4, 3. Start running to the tunnel. Hit the tunnel as fast as you can, or if you're at home, get away from the other team because they're throwing stuff. So Cyprus, the fans really were like they had no control at all there. So it's fun, it's wild all at the same time.
Wow, that is ha,
Yeah,
I guess
imagine you're doing a lab line and you see something. Boom. It's just like, oh, gotta relax. Light the flares. Trying to throw the flares from one side. They gotta have police at every game, and the fans have to send them this side, the other fans on the other side of the game, and they don't let them near each other. A lot of the teams are in the same city, so if you're playing a road game, park your car down the street. Don't even park in front of them because they're gonna mess your car up. Like park around the corner and walk up to this.
man, that is outrageous.
It was wild, but
I
it's
know
all
I've seen some crazy stuff in that area. Like I know Serbian footballers like drove a tank up to their stadium once. I know I've seen some stuff like that and like that. And I know Turkey in football at least soccer has some of that as well.
Yeah, Turkey will turn up. Right now we won't have any fans, but yeah, Turkey turns up, and I hear our fans are great here, so I'm excited to see that. You know, I live off the energy, so
Yeah, that was certainly something I know that you and I talked off the podcast. So it was like literally just as we were talking, it was like the health minister of Turkey said that, yeah, unfortunately the first half games, probably at least you won't have fans. That's tough.
Yeah, I mean, you informed me of it, if I'm being honest. When you told me that is when I found out. So I was like, first half, I wasn't expecting that
you
long.
heard it.
That's long.
Shameless plug alert. You heard it here first. Expat Hoops.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but
Shameful
wow, Andy,
plug.
you've broken more news than I have in my career.
Well, this media thing, it's super easy, guys. You should totally try it. Talking about all the different stories of playing overseas and everything like that. What's it like? Do you get recognized a lot when you go out in public? The various countries.
Yes, you get recognized depending on where you are. Depends how much you get recognized. Like I was in Frankfurt for a long time, so it got to the point pretty much where I was, taking pictures every time I'm outside of the house or signing something or not. It's not crazy where they're like, oh, I'm not Drake walking around, anything like that. But you definitely recognize. Like here in Yalova, it's a smaller town near Istanbul. So when I'm in Yalova, one of two black people walking around, so they know who you are. They're like, okay, those are the basketball players right there, those two guys. If I go to Istanbul, it's 8 teams. So they're not studying me. They're gonna look at you like, oh, he's tall, oh, he plays basketball or whatever, but they don't know who I am. So every country's different though. I mean, like in here, if you wanna worry about like the who's getting chased down and stuff like that, it's the soccer players. So that's the ones we have to worry about staying low and this and that. With us now, can I have a picture with a soccer player? Oh my God, this and that. And I'm like, okay. So so it's pretty chill, which I prefer chill. I don't want to be a celebrity. It seems stressful.
Yeah, I would say so. You can't go anywhere without being seen. You can't lay low or anything like that. But you are making money, so that's at least some good.
You can't have an opinion. I didn't say I didn't want to be rich. I'll take the rich and be low key.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever play for a coach that didn't speak great English or any English or anything like that?
Yeah.
But was that difficult?
Yeah, it is what it is. It's better for me. I prefer it that way.
Why is that?
Because then you could just be in your own zone. That's why they're talking their own language and yell at everybody or whatever's going on. You're just like, all right, well, he's not talking to me because he's not trying to speak English. And then when they're talking to you, when they're speaking English, it's just like, all right, cool. Like they're just gonna say what they're trying to say. They're not gonna overdo what they're trying to say. So either way, it's fine. It is what it is. Like even when I was in Thailand, my coach spoke perfect English. He wasn't, but he was European. He spoke perfect English. Most of the times, my coaches speak English. In Frankfurt, my coach Gordy, he's from Canada, so he spoke perfect English. Yeah, it doesn't really happen too much where you can't. It's not to the point where you can't understand. It's just my coach right now probably has the most broken English, and he communicates with me fine. It's not a problem. So it's never to the point where it's a problem.
Interesting. What part of your game have you changed, if anything, to most adapt to different leagues, and style of play? Like, I mean, for instance, like when we heard from Tony Skin, we were talking about like the Adriatic, I think it was the Adriatic League, but basically like one of them was just like super physical and some of them are a little bit more finesse, a little bit more small ball. So like adaptations have you gone through as you've gone from like league to league?
Leagues are definitely different, man. I've learned that in a short time. You just gotta just kind of play how they play, really. I've been wanting to get to France because that would have been, for me, I think it would have been perfect. It's really up and down and a real good guard and an athletic big. And that's, that's kind of my fit. It would have been great for me. But I landed in Germany, and that's when I learned to be physical. Apparently, I didn't even know that I was considered like a physical guy. But for me, I just got tired of getting hit in the face by these big, strong Germans. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do some hitting myself. So the physicality in Germany is big. But will I change? I don't really too much change my game. My focus is pretty simple: is be effective on the defensive end. Communicate with everybody. Try to keep the whole defense on the same page, and then try to erase people's mistakes at the rim. The offense is pretty simple, also. Screen. If I'm screening and getting my scores open, I'm really hitting people. I'm trying to roll and get myself open, but now I'm starting to just get the ball and just try to score more, on ISOs or one-on-ones or whatever it is also now. So just trying to add every year, you try to add little things, just little things. You add, one little right kiss off the glass now. Add that now. Okay, start going up and under a little bit more. And as you just gradually add, you just get better and better every year. So.
You're currently listening to former George Mason University men's basketball player Mike Morrison, who is under contract in Turkey awaiting the start of his season. They'll be starting without fans there. Special shout out to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube. We post clips up there during the week to tease each of these interviews. So if you want to hear some parts of the interviews ahead of time or go back and hear the best parts, the best highlights, that's the best place to do it. You can subscribe to us there. We are also available on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Special thank you to the By George Podcasting Network. Back to Mike Morrison on Expat Hoops.
Vicuña.
You mentioned before you keep in touch with some of your old teammates and most of your old coaches, you said, right?
Yeah.
Is there a difference between, do you keep in touch more with your American ex-teammates or teammates that are overseas? Anything like that?
You keep in touch with a few guys from each team, really. Each year you add a few guys that you were. Social media makes it easy. You have everybody, see everybody. You check in with everybody here and there, comment on this and that. But people you actually talk to, there's always one or two guys from each team. Or I rarely keep in contact with my head coaches professionally, just because usually it's a year and you're done with them. I still keep in contact with my coach from Germany because it's 4 years, and we had a love-hate relationship now, and we respect each other enough to where we can keep in contact. But as far as players-wise, college, you have your friends that you were, we lived together for years, so we keep in contact with a lot of the college guys. And then pro-wise, few guys off of each team, or your team. If the team really clicks, you'll still have a group chat that started as the group chat for the team for that year. Then, I don't think we'll keep using this and keep talking, and stuff like that. So I still have a group chat with some Frankfurt guys and some Würzburg guys, and so it just depends on who's who. But I like keeping in contact. Not everybody's like that. Most guys really actually don't. They're kind of to themselves. But I try to keep in contact with people.
Which also is probably a little bit tough too, because a lot of these contracts, I know that we talked about with your second stint in Germany. Well, depending on how you break it up, where it was a 6-week contract and everything. So there's obviously, and you're talking about the 1-and-1. It seems like a lot of things are not necessarily multi-year deals, so you could be moving around a lot, right?
Yeah. It's really, basketball is a very unstable job. So you never know where you're going to be and what your next move is. Like you said, I went to back to Germany on a 6-week, and then they kept extending it for a month and extending it for a month. And I was cool with that because for me, it just kept me locked in. Okay, well, you got to keep performing. You want to keep getting paid, you got to keep performing. So I like that. It just is what it is. Especially even you can be playing great, you get hurt, they'll send you home. So you got to take care of your body. Nobody's going to be in college. Man, we don't realize how spoiled we are in college until you get somewhere else and there's not 5 ice baths lined up right there. There's not all these people here taping, and all these people are taping themselves, or there's nobody here making you get up extra shots. Nobody's making you take care of your body. Nobody's making you do anything. You're either going to perform and be healthy or you don't. And we're going to send you home and get the next person and see how they do. So, or you could be playing well and your team just happen to be doing bad and you still get sent home. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. So, it's just how it goes. You got to just take your lumps. Just like Tony said, he got the short end of the stick on his first job and he just kept pushing, and then you just hope things keep going well, and he had a good snap. So
let's talk about a day in the life in other places. What does a day look like for you preseason versus regular season when you get started overseas? What's that like?
It's the same everywhere. So that's the one thing that's constant is it's pretty typical. You're gonna wake up in the morning, eat your quick breakfast. Your morning practice is either gonna be weights or shooting, and you're gonna go back home. For me, I'm the TV guy. Like if you need a show, tell me what you like, and I can tell you your next watch. So I go home, watch me a quick show or something like that, eat lunch. I have to nap. Take me a nap, go back to sleep, wake up for practice, and then from there it's just downtime to chill. Like some guys are hang with other guys, play video games, do this and that. I'm in front of the TV or I'm on video calls with my family, catching up with everybody and talking to my friends. So that's a typical day for me, and that's pretty much the same everywhere. The only thing that'll be different is what are you doing on your off days, and that depends on where you're at and how much is there to do. So,
what are you watching right now?
Woof. Oh, you don't want to get into that. That's a deep conversation there.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you checked out I guess it was the podcast with Fallon, because she's going to Iceland. She and I started talking about the Zac Efron episode of. So I mean, we've got that capability to branch off a little bit here.
Listen, man. I watch a lot of shows at once, but right now, probably the most locked in watch for me right now is The Boys, which is running right now on Amazon Prime. Are y'all familiar with that at all?
I haven't seen it.
I am, yeah.
Oof. So The Boys is a comic book going to a TV show. It's about superheroes, a superhero show, but it's what I like to call a real take on what superheroes would be like. So Homelander, who is like Superman, they all have they have a fast guy, they have all this stuff, right? Homelander's like overpowered jerk who does what he wants, and these big corporations are sponsoring these heroes and they're making billions of dollars off of it, and they kind of got to cover their tracks on how bad of people they really are, because think about it, if you could fly around and have laser beam eyes and could do whatever you want, probably not going to be the greatest of people. You're probably going to actually be a jerk and doing what you want and low-key killing people and doing all type of wild stuff. But that's just the base of it. There's a lot going on, but that's pretty much the base of it. It's kind of a different look at what superheroes are really, really like. So it's really interesting, and it's very well done. So
I mean, I'm sold. I've got to write this down.
You gotta check it out. It's gonna be some scenes where you're gonna be like, oh my goodness, that was crazy. So I refuse to spoil. That's like part of my code. I'll never spoil a show. I can't tell you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting here on a
and
Friday.
Our listeners will appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I'm sitting here on a Friday. I think I've got a binge this weekend ahead of me.
Even if people be like, I'm not gonna watch, just tell me. Nope, just don't watch it. I don't care. Leave me out of it. Leave me out of it. Yeah.
Do you do any like tourism stuff? Is there a particular interest you have when you go to other countries? Anything you like to see?
Yes, I like to just. I mean, I'm a city guy. So if I can get in a big city, I like to just go explore cities. Tomorrow, we got tomorrow off. So tomorrow I have to take a ferry across the water to get to Istanbul. I have to take a ferry at some point and go over to the city and just figure it out. Go there, find restaurants, just go move around, shop a little bit, go walk around, see what's what. So yeah, I like doing that. And also I know a couple of different people over there, so I do that too, meet up with some of my old teammates from Würzburg that play in Istanbul. So that's what I do. I explore.
So, I mean, that actually was going to be my question. That was one of the things that Fallon wanted to know was when you weren't playing basketball, how you spent your free time in a country where you don't have many friends or family. So obviously in this particular case, you've got teammates from Germany and everything like that. But like, let's say early on when you maybe didn't know as many people, what was it like for you in terms of what would be your advice to somebody like that just starting out?
If you know me, you know I'm gonna make friends. My wife always gets on me because I call her and I'll be like, so I met a guy. It's not hard for me. I go and then I just meet people. Like I went into the city last weekend, and I met a guy who owned a whole restaurant and bar, and so it's like my advice is just be open, man. Just go. If you don't got nobody to go with, just go. Nobody, it's not gonna bite you. I'm not like I'm not a little woman walking around, where I would say, okay, you got to be more careful how you move. I'm 6'9", so nobody's gonna kidnap me. I don't have to worry about anything happening to me or anything like that. So just go and just explore. Get cool with your teammates. You get cool with your teammates. They've been living here their whole lives. They can show you all the spots. So that's another thing. Get cool with your teammates. So yeah, I'm just social. I've made mutes be tight with me. So people that literally refuse to join conversation will sit at the table with the whole team. Everybody starts telling stories. Oh, I remember when this happened, He would not add to it. I'd be like, so what do you think? He'd just sit there like, would not talk. Played with me for 2 years. I forced him to be my friend. Now we talk almost every day. So yeah, that's just my personality. So
you're an affable guy.
For me. Yeah.
So on some of these stints, have you taken your family over with you? I mean, or does it just depend?
One has to be a school for my son because he's 9 now. It has to be a school where he can go to. That's affordable. One, because some of these schools, they be like, all right, 100,000 up front. Like, I'm not getting paid that much. So, but two, my wife also, she's very driven herself and had literally just finished up school where she's a ABA therapist, applied behavior analysis. She just finished and started her career, so they stayed back again this year. They've came over with me too. They've been with me in Frankfurt to where my son was in school, my wife was teaching at the same school. They had their whole own life there. Like when I woke up, they were already going to school and working, and when I got back from my second practice, they'll be home chilling, watching TV. I was like, it's like we were really living over here. So that was cool. That's the ideal situation, but it doesn't work out for me like that every year. Every year, I'd be like, you coming? Please come in. So I'd be like, I can't. I'd be like, all right, cool. But she can visit, so that's cool.
This is Expat Hoops. We just wanted to take a moment here to thank the By George Podcasting Network for hosting us. We'd also like to thank Antonio Hernandez Vicuña, as you heard there off the top. He's the guy that put together all the great music we're about to listen to in the show, plus some music I'm going to be using for the theme. Thank you very much to him, and you can check out his SoundCloud. He's at Electric Llama Official. And you can also find him on social media, Electric Llama.
Yeah, and so actually, is that something that, with any of these particular teams, do you, as part of your compensation, do you get any perks of certain amount of plane tickets or anything like that per year or anything like that?
Hey, you got to negotiate whatever you want, man. You got to negotiate. I always try to get plane tickets. Depending on the team's budget, they usually can make it happen for you. It's where you get a certain amount of tickets in your contract. So yeah, everything, you got to negotiate everything. Oh. Right now I'm in a dispute with my team. I wouldn't say dispute, but there was language in the contract that caused a little controversy, and I was like, nah, that's not how I read it. So so what happened was, and I can tell you guys this because they're handling it. So it's not a problem. I don't want you to think I'm causing controversy about my guys that I'm with right now. But when my agent was like, yeah, you're gonna get house, car, apartment, all that stuff, right? So I'm like, cool, it's normal. So in the contract, it says the team is responsible for transportation, which is that's regular language. It says the same thing: Wi-Fi, dishwasher, TV, apartment. It says it's just one of the other sentences. Team responsible for transportation, and I'm like, okay, cool. So it's in there. So when I got here, first couple of days they're trying to get you moved in. They got a lot of moving pieces, get you physicals and all that. So I'm like, okay, I'll wait. Then I'm starting they realized nobody's mentioned anything about when we're going to pick up a car. So I'm like, yo, when am I getting my car? They're like, no, I think your contract says the team will handle transportation to and from practice. I was like, no. I need a car. It says the team will handle transportation. I interpret that as I need a car. So they're handling. That's little things like that. You just gotta just be detailed in what you need. So ask for what you need in the contract. So there's no confusion.
Is there any country in particular where something stood out to you, where you're like, this is among, I wouldn't say a favorite, but are there any countries where you travel to where you're like, oh, this is something that I really enjoyed doing in terms of being in the country itself?
I can tell you different things about every country. Really, I mean, every place is so unique. That's the thing that I really, I take as a blessing of being over here is every country really has its own thing, Like I just left Bangkok, for goodness sakes. You watch Hangover 2 or 3 or whatever it is, and it's like, it's not that crazy over there. No, it's that crazy over there. Like it really is. Like, so it's just a lot of unique experiences, good and bad. Like for instance, when I was in Finland and I'm freezing, and my teammates like, not yet, it's not cold yet. I'm like, nah, it's cold. A few weeks later, it's not cold yet. Not and it's getting it's miserable. It's like ice everywhere. Not yet. And I still remember. I'll never forget walking into practice one day, and it's just like you park the car, you're slipping on ice, and it's a blizzard, and you turn it sideways, get your big coat on. I walk in the locker room and like, hey Mike, now it's cold. Stuff like that. Like where it's like I say, what's going on out there is not cold. There's no word in the English dictionary for what's happening outside those doors. That is ridiculous. So yeah, I didn't know how to deal with that at all. In fact, let me tell you how dumb I am when it comes to the cold. I didn't learn from the storms in Virginia, DC at all, because I got tired of having to shovel my car out and get the ice off the windshield and all this and stuff every single day. So I was like, man, you're working hard and not smart. Let me, instead of getting this ice off the windshield with this pick, Mike, just get hot water and pour it on the windshield.
Oh no.
And clearly from your response, that was not working smart. That was working dumb. Luckily, the windshield didn't crack, apparently, from what I'm told. But I poured it, and instantly, a layer of ice of like 2 inches froze over the whole windshield. And I had 5 minutes to get to the gym, and I couldn't see anything. And there was no chance I was going to get ice off. So I had to ride in negative weather with my head out of the window.
Oh.
I was so mad at myself. I was just like, duh. After you do it, it's duh. But before, you're a genius.
Yeah, you said you're a guy that just likes to experience things. You're a guy that likes to soak it all in.
Yeah, just go different places and experience. And I think that's the blessing of being able to play internationally, is just different experiences. I'm cultured. Different cultures. So.
And that's actually one of the things I think that we have the most fun. Obviously, we kind of thought we would get stories like this when we developed the idea for this podcast. Obviously, we really like basketball as well, but it's just sort of one of those things where like this just seems to be like the perfect blend where we could talk about both. And that's one of the things that just early on we've been rewarded with, like great stories about great experiences. So that's one of the funs of doing this pod. So I don't know if you want to pivot to the upcoming season. I know we talked about, unfortunately, the first half is going to be without fans in the stands. But what had you heard about what to expect from games in Turkey?
I've played games against Turkish teams. I just never played in the Turkish leagues before. So I've had pretty good records against Turkish teams in the past with my Frankfurt teams and other teams I've played with. So I'm kind of experienced playing against this team. I mean, it's gonna be basketball. My team is solid. We got some veterans. We know how to play the right way. Just got to go out and play. It's gonna be nothing different as far as I'm concerned. So we're supposed to have one of the better teams, and I believe so also. So I'm trying to win a championship. Same goal as every year. Try to get me some metal, some hardware. Which sucks because in Bangkok last year we were in first place, playoffs were about to start, and then boom, Corona. So
Oh man, that's exactly what happened with Fallon Stevens in her Division II at Delphi. She was the number 1 seed in their tournament, and then Corona canceled it all.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I felt bad for the college kids more than anybody else because I can't imagine people were like in the semis and had to stop playing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dayton was on a 19-game win streak, making a push for the national championship. They've never had a push for the national.
I mean, they should have been a 1 seed probably.
Yeah, National Player of the Year. They had a great chance to go far.
There's going to for sure be a 1 seed, right? I mean,
I think so. I think the only question is whether they were going to be a 2 or a 1. I mean, definitely was up there. I think that
honestly, I don't think it matters. I don't think it would. They were really good. Like, you just feel bad. I mean, and even the sleepers, the teams that are doing well, that finally about to make the tournament, and boom, like it's sick. So, and also right now, can you imagine going to college and all your classes online? That's not college. It's not college. That's school. You're going to school.
Yeah.
So I mean, I hope it clears up for them more so than anything else, because I couldn't imagine losing my 4 years at Mason. We had a blast. We probably had too much fun. Glad we avoided jail time.
You're currently listening to an interview with former George Mason men's basketball player Mike Morrison on Expat Hoops. He is currently signed with Turkish basketball league team Yalova Basket, that's Yalova, their hometown. You can find their scores on basketball.eurobasket.com under their full franchise name, SEMT77 Yalova Belediye Spor. They're also on IG and Twitter at Yalova Basket, and on YouTube, search Yalova Basket. Now back to the interview on Expat Hoops.
Any travel plans while you're in Turkey, like anything in particular that you're looking to go see?
Man, these Turkish Airlines flights looking real lovely, man. Touching a lot of places. That's the thing. Another thing about being over in Europe, like when I was in Frankfurt, like it's like going from state to state. Me going from Florida to Atlanta to North Carolina, it's like me going from Frankfurt to Paris to Rome.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You can hit these places in 2-hour flights, like it's like you're going to a different state. Everything's right there, or you can take a train, or you can drive. Imagine being in Frankfurt, like let's hit Paris for the weekend. You drive a few hours, so you can hit a lot of places. That's why tourists over here seem to be doing a lot more than not really. Just everything's close. Everything's really close. So
yeah.
So yeah, I might, man. I don't know exactly how much downtime we're gonna have, but if we have downtime and national team breaks and all this stuff, I for sure will travel. About 2 years ago, me and Ryan Pearson, this is why the Lithuania thing was going on. I actually knew my last game. I was like, okay, this is gonna be my last game. They're probably gonna. I was already communicating with my agent. They're probably gonna get rid of me after this game. I already knew. So me and Ryan, after that game, after the national team break, 2 weeks off, we went to Amsterdam and had a lot of fun. So that was cool. We like bouncing around. Just while you're over here, you better see it while you're over here, because it costs a lot more money to get back over here.
Absolutely.
Man, you don't have to tell me. We had a trip to Japan canceled this year because of Corona, so we were looking to head over there and do some exploration and addition to some other things. So it's not cheap, and we wanted to get as much done over there as we could while we could. So
yeah, if you go that far, you got to stay for a few weeks. You
absolutely
can't just go for a weekend or something. Like once you go that far, you got to be over there. Thailand was lovely though. I'm mad I didn't get to go to Phuket. To the islands and stuff. I never.
Oh yeah.
The plan afterwards to go out to the islands and be in paradise for a little while, but there was no afterwards. There was
just Corona.
There was the president getting on the news saying we're closing the borders. Y'all better get here. Anybody that's coming. So I'm like, hey, book my ticket. I gotta go. The last thing I'm trying to be is stuck away from my family even longer.
Yeah.
I got it. I gotta go.
Yeah. So we mentioned afterward. Eventually, there will come a day where you are not playing basketball professionally anymore. What are you looking to do when that happens? Are you looking to get into coaching? Do you have any idea, or are you not looking that far ahead?
I'm looking. I I have a few different business things I want to do. I've already started, getting different properties. I have a home in Florida that's on Airbnb right now, and my home in Virginia will probably start renting out soon. We're still doing renovations and things on it. And obviously my wife is living there right now with my kids. But I got that going. I got a few different business things I want to do, but also I never really closed the coaching door because, all my coaches recognize that I have a basketball mind. I really understand the game and what's going on out there, and I think I'll really enjoy coaching. So I always did at the camps. I probably have the most championships at the Jim Larinaga basketball camp. I was winning very frequently, all the time winning. So I really enjoy coaching. Probably for me would be, if I coach it, probably would be the college level, because I think the high school level, there are too many guys that are kind of just playing for fun or, doing other things and not really, taking it as serious, even though you could be at a school where they are all taking it serious. Kind of, and at the pro level, it's too many adults acting like children, and, it's frustrating trying to control adults. I would rather be the guy that takes these children that's coming in from high school, because they're still kids. They're 18, whatever, they're still kids. Take the 18-year-old, and by the time they're 21, 22, you've taken them and matured them and taught them, how to, not just basketball, but life, how to succeed in life. So that sounds like something that's more at my alley, is college age.
Yeah, but as a 9-year playing career now professionally, obviously college career really good. I'm a little bit worried about the recruiting aspect and the relationships that you would forge. You got to work on that. The sarcasm comes through the phone. I think you'd be, for goodness sakes, if you wanted to do coaching, you absolutely could.
Yeah, I understand basketball. I understand different people's X's and O's and what they're trying to do and different ways to defend and different, whatever. I get the X's and O's of basketball. But yeah, I'm a people person. I can definitely bridge the gap for players, coaches, just so everybody's on the same page, so it'd be something I enjoy. I definitely would enjoy coaching, but that also comes with still being busy and a lot of traveling, and I've been doing that. So that's the one thing I'm gonna do. I really want to be on the move again, away from so it's different decisions to be made, but I've looked into different franchises and different things like that also. So
yeah, it's different when you're paying to go somewhere than when you're getting paid.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
I was going to ask too, like you've got a personality for television, but that would require some travel as well. I don't know if you ever talked about that.
No, I would love that for sure. Like, I'll travel for that. That would be great. That would be great. Follow my man Luke footsteps right now. Luke's doing a great job.
Yep.
Hancock is doing a great job. Just finished his first year. Big shout out.
Recently, I know on Instagram you posted about Kobe Bryant being your favorite player. Like, as a big, what have you incorporated from his game into his, or what have you incorporated from his game into yours, rather, if anything?
The only thing I actually try to take from his game is the mentality. Like, you might even see pictures of me on the court, like, doing the face, like, there's, trying to just go out there and really compete at a high level. I'll never be able to do the things he can do on the court. Like, as far as our movements, we two different positions. Obviously, he plays, very different. I got the little back pivot down on the block as opposed to head fake back pivot. Stole that from Kobe. But outside of that, our games are obviously very different. But the mentality is what I try to bring. Just like any other player, you want to have that same grit as Kobe. So.
Is there anybody else, any aspects of anybody else's game that you can point to that you're like, yeah, this is something I like that I saw somebody who was playing and picked it up?
I watched a lot of guys in the NBA, in the EuroLeague, anything. I just kind of, when I'm watching basketball, it's kind of hard for me to enjoy. I'm kind of watching game film. But I'm always watching, I'll be watching the bigs and just seeing what they're doing away from the ball, offense, on defense, how they're setting up, how they're getting angles, how they set up the spins for the lobs, all that type of stuff. But if I had to pick a guy that probably influenced me most, would be Amari Stoudemire. Because I saw that man in high school. My brother played AAU with him. And I've never seen anything more dominant than Amari Stoudemire on a high school court. He was at a basketball camp. Breakdown's the name of the basketball camp back then, biggest camp in Florida at the time. And my mom was like, hey, the number one player in the country is down here. He's 16 at the time. Number one player in the country is down on this court. I go down there, and at camps, guys are usually, everybody's out there trying to get their own and playing bad basketball, a lot of bad shots, no real ball movement. It was a clear understanding that we got to give the ball. What are we doing? He's literally every play sealing, catching and turning and just destroying the rim. I mean, destroying the rim. So I watched that play when he, in high school, and I was like, that's how when I can dunk the ball, that's how I'm gonna dunk the ball. I'm gonna try to rip the rim off, and I'm gonna yell in people's faces and all that. Even at once he got to 17 and under, playing with Adidas Fast Break with my brother, they're playing at Disney, playing against Nike's Florida team at the time, two of the best teams in the state, and Nike's big kind of caught it on a drop off and dunked on him quick, right, and yelled at him, right. You're like, man, he took that ball out and kind of like rolled it out, and you see him say something to his point guard. Keep in mind, the whole floor is all the college coaches. Every coach in the country's there. I don't know if you've ever been to Wild World Sports and Disney, but it's 4 courts. Everybody's packed all the way up to the roof on this side and up to the other court high so they can see over the net to watch him play. Like, it's packed all around his area. You see him roll the ball out, go say something, and then kind of jog down the court, go to the block. The point guard swings, gets it back, and he ducks in, turns, and literally face-to-face this guy. Like, guy jumps perfect time. He just jumps over him, over his arms, dunks 2 hands directly over him, and just grabs the rim. And he's swinging the rim, and the whole goal is shaking. The back is like lifting. The back is lifting. And, I mean, coaches are running on the court. Kids are running. People running through the hallway. They had to stop the game. I was like, yo, I've never seen anything like this. So, Amari Stoudemire. Yeah. That's why I was like, okay.
This is actually a good opportunity to segue into a new segment that we have that we're calling the Larry Bird Merry Christmas Trash Talk segment. What is the best trash talk you've ever heard on the basketball court, whether it's high school, college, or hopefully professional? What's the best story that you have?
I'm not sure on this one. A lot of trash talk goes on out there. I have guys that talk a lot the whole game. That's mostly on my team. But the best story I probably have is my Canadian teammate, Aaron Dornekamp in Frankfurt. And it's not because it was like such, what a crazy, comeback or something like that. It was just so smart. Like he would tell guys. So imagine you about to shoot a free throw. He'll be like, hey, he'll go to him. It's kind of weird how do you shoot the ball with your thumb on the ball like that? Like the way you hold the ball, you have your thumb on the ball like that? Like, that's a little weird. So now you got guys that shoot the free throw. They're like kind of looking at their hand like, am I holding them? Like, you know what I'm saying? He's making them miss shots. That's the type of trash talker he was. He was clever. But I mean, as far as, I don't know, nobody really has the great punchlines or anything like that. For trash talk, I think it's kind of fizzled, man. It's
not what it used to be.
No, it's not what it used to be because guys are kind of like, the game is more friendly now. I got to tech this summer planning a tournament for cursing. I'm like, I can't curse. It's a church league, it's just like you can't even talk trash. You can't dunk and mean mug people anymore. You got to look away or to tech. I have to look away from people. Can you imagine that? You have to look away from people. So trash talk has really been kind of removed. You only get it kind of when you're playing pickup or, in practice, you get really talk to your teammates and really get into it. So yeah, it's trash talk is fizzled in my personal opinion. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's clever, but he also is like, he's Canadian, but he's like a hockey Canadian playing basketball. So he's cursing people out, and he's real physical, and he's a shooter, but he's also hitting guys, and
Yeah, are you familiar with the story, like with the Larry Bird, where we got the name for that?
No, I wasn't.
All right. So Larry Bird, basically they're playing a Christmas Day game, goes over to, like, they're just coming out of a timeout, and he goes over, talks to the bench of the opposing team. Don't remember who it is. Might have been like the Rockets or something like that. And he, they're waiting to come back from like the TV break or whatever. So he goes to the whole entire bench. He's like, by the way, I got y'all a Christmas present. That's all he says. Play runs. He hits a 3-pointer right in front of their bench, turns around and goes, Merry f***ing Christmas.
That's awesome. I hate the Celtics, but that's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what we're going for in terms of what we're naming it and everything like that. So, obviously we could have chosen some of the Kevin Garnett ones, but some of those are a little bit more.
Yeah, like Carmelo is still looking for Kevin Garnett. He's still
that came up right before you came on the call. We were talking about Kevin Garnett and some of the things that he said, and that was one of them to Melo.
So Melo was about to be on their team bus looking for KG. He was tripping.
I actually saw, when you mentioned your high school story about Amari, I saw Carmelo when he was in high school, when he was still Towson Catholic, when he was a junior.
Yeah.
And he was a man. That was quite something. You want to talk about man amongst boys.
Yeah.
He did a similar thing to our center. Our center was like 6'10", and he wasn't as violent as you said Amari was, because they weren't trash talking or anything. But he went to the hole and he dunked over our center, which is 6'10", and it was like he almost completely jumped over him in the gym. It was a sight to behold.
Melo
was unstoppable.
Melo was so good in high school and college. I thought he was gonna be better than LeBron. I was wrong, very, very wrong. But Melo was a problem, man.
Mike Morrison, Expat Hoops. Happy to have you on today. It's been a great conversation. Look forward to your season coming up in Turkey. Good luck to you, and hopefully COVID doesn't put a damper on any of your great plans you got there.
Yep, appreciate that. Thank you for having me. And I hear you got, I don't want to spoil anything, but I hear you might have a young man named Isaiah Tate coming up soon. Do me a favor. Just say to him for me. Say, Mike told me to say Prestige Worldwide. Okay. He'll handle the rest. So just do me that. Just write that down. Do me that small favor, please.
We will absolutely do you that favor, no doubt about it.
Well, wait, Mike Morrison, if you're gonna drop that quote, did we just become best friends?
Yep. Wanna go to Friday?
That was former member of the George Mason University frontcourt, Mike Morrison. Special thanks to him for his time during this interview and his great answers that he gave us. Hope you all enjoyed it. As he mentioned, Isaiah Tate is up next on our schedule, the former George Mason University guard and teammate of Mike Morrison. So please tune in for that and go to our social media to figure out exactly when that comes out. We're on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can find us in all those places. Expat Hoops, EXPAT Hoops. Special thank you, as always, to the By George Podcasting Network for hosting us. You can find our whole archive there, including our interview with current assistant head coach of Seton Hall University men's basketball, Tony Skinn, and Division II standout Fallon Stevens, who is now in Iceland playing professional basketball. Again, that's Expat Hoops, EXPAT Hoops. Special thank you to Antonio Vicuña Hernandez for the music. You can find him on Electric Llama Official on his SoundCloud. Thank you all, and tune in next time.